and Honorable Nandhan Nimfel. You're all welcome.
Thank you very much. And at this point in the program, we'd like to constitute a panel of discussants. So please join me and welcome members of the panel and, of course, the moderator. First, Professor Samuel Bankole Arokoye, please, we welcome you, Deputy Dean, School of Graduate Studies, University of Port Harcourt, Professor of Urban and Regional Planning, please. Professor will be joined on stage by Dr. Steve Wardu, Senior Lecturer, Department of Sociology, University of Port Harcourt. Dr. Steve Wardu, please. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Steve Wardu. You're welcome, sir. And the third discussant will be architect Aziz Bello, who has flown in, or who flew in all the way from Kaduna to grace this occasion. Architect Aziz Bello, please. Thank you. And to moderate this discussion, it is my privilege and honor to invite our own very Professor Nelson Bryan-Baffa. Please, a round of applause for the distinguished gentleman who is also the Bayelsa State Rep and Commissioner on the board of the NDDC. A better round of applause, please, for Professor Nelson Bryan-Baffa. Thank you. Yes. He will be the moderator, and I've just been informed that the speakers, if you do not mind, would have about 7 minutes each to speak. Of course, the moderator would handle the timing. Thank you very much, sir.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the topic is clear. A man ahead of his time. When I heard that at the airport when we were receiving the Honorable Minister, the likes of that small fellow that got discriminated in South Africa and went back to India and became the father of India, Indira Gandhi. And then the other person that came to my mind was our Sagiefo in Ghana, who's always dreamt of the African High Command. Well, there's a price you pay for living ahead of your time. You'll be called all kinds of names. As what my good friend has always been called. I think I was his Dean Student Affairs when he was a student, but he's a very big man now. Every Oga gets Oga. He's not my Oga. Anyway, I have another guy here, the MD, NDDC, and then the Honorable Minister for Niger Delta. There are too many Ogas here, but nevertheless, I'm moderating this show. Well, Uniport, sociology. From your point of view, what do you think it is to be a man ahead of your time?
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. A man ahead of our time. I have considered the topic, and I decided to structure the man ahead of our time under 4 headings. One is that the man ahead of our time must have a political space. There must be a place from where he began, and the background, past, present, and future of that environment is very, very relevant in how we perceive the man ahead of his time. Second, the man ahead of his time must have a humble beginning. We want to know from when he started, the background he inherited, and how he has transformed the circumstances surrounding him into a powerful political person. The man ahead of his time must be a philosopher. And I consider in this context that he must be a development philosopher. And the man ahead of his time will have his own political group or his followers. And he has a responsibility to ensure that his followers remain united if they are going to continue with his vision or the structure he's going to leave behind. Without people, supporters, members of his own political association being behind him, sharing his vision, the vision he has constructed as the man ahead of his time will fail if he does not have good supporters. And that is the basis on which the man ahead of his time must be a future thinker, and his followers must march along with him. But that is where I fear, in this context, whether the followers of the man ahead of his time, our brother, my friend, my class, my year mate in the university, I fear if his followers will march into the structure he has built over the years. Thank you.
A man ahead of his time should have an humble beginning, as you've heard the last speakers speak, from a sociological point of view. He has to be a philosopher. I think our man ahead of time was actually not too far from it. I think he graduated, he majored in English. He majored in English. And he's a good leader. You can, what the chairman said, you can see it in the hall. A man coming all the way from Abuja and then the airport is full. I've had the privilege of following that convoy 3 or 4 times. I never drove in a convoy before because I'm not a commissioner. But this man, I will follow. He's younger than me, but I still follow him. I regard him as my leader too. And that's why people are jealous of him. Well, as the MC said, the difference is clear. Say since you go, some said hunger, some said no roads, but you have to move on. You have to be ahead of your time. Let me listen to my colleague from Uniport, our dean, sub-dean postgraduate school. What are your concepts about a man ahead of his time? This one has been called the Lion of Rivers State, not the Lion of Judea, the Lion of Rivers State, a fearless man, a man who has a vision, who's always thinking ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, thank you. Well, having studied and read about men in the time past,